Two young killers, man. Shai, Anthony Edwards. Only one could be the guy. Who's the guy, though? Who's really the guy? When we look at Shai and Ant, I see Kobe and Mike, okay? And I'm gonna say that Anthony Edwards is Mike and Shai is Kobe, right? And I'm not saying as far as who's better. I'm saying because Jordan is better than Kobe. Kobe's my favorite. Let's get that out the way. But what I'm saying is, as far as that play style, the athleticism, Anthony Edwards is more like Mike when it comes to that kind of stuff, like that motor, the intensity. And I'd say from a skill set standpoint, Shai is the guy like Kobe, right? Kobe was a little more polished skill-wise because he stole from Jordan and then kind of, did his own thing and kind of reinvented the wheel, kind of enhanced some of the stuff that Jordan was doing. But Jordan just had a pure, raw, like, feel for the game, kind of different from Kobe. Had to really work to be who he was. Not that Mike didn't. Mike had to as well, because we all know the story that he got, cut from his varsity team. But he didn't get cut completely. He joined junior varsity, so let's not overblow that story. But I see the similarities with those comparisons with both of those guys. But in this current NBA, who's better, though? Like, who's better? That's a real story. And the fact that we get to embark on this exploration, this journey of who's better in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals, this is kind of epic. This is kind of epic. So if we got to break them down, let's look at the regular season and how they match up as far as, points per game, all of that. Let's look at the stats. They were pretty kind of neck and neck as far as games played. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played 76, and Anthony Edwards played 79, which is great. Like, we talking about in a day and age where people rest, people get hurt a lot, and, I know there were some games that Shai didn't play because they just was whooping everybody, so he took rest. But the fact that these guys are guys who actually like to play, who actually don't take days off, it's already dope. 34 minutes a game for Shai, 36 minutes a game for Anthony Edwards. It's pretty close. Then points per game now. Shai led the league in points. 32 points a game, 32.7, almost 33. And Anthony Edwards was 27.6, almost 28. He's number 4, okay? Neck and neck with rebounds, 5 a game. Shai averaged more assists, 6 assists versus 4 assists for Anthony Edwards. Field goal percentage, okay? And there's reasonings for this. Shai is 51.9% from the field. That is epic. That's great. And mainly because he's mostly a midi and an inside the paint type of guy when it comes to scoring. He don't shoot the three at a high clip. Anthony Edwards, on the other hand, was 44% from the field. And that's mainly because he shoots a lot of threes. But his three-point percentage, he's almost 40% from three, and while Shai is 37.5. Now, if we go with the free throws percentage, Shai is almost 90% from free throw, and he gets to the line a lot. We all know that. Anthony Edwards, 83%. Shoe shooting percentage, Shai, 63%, Anthony Edwards, 59%. All right? Neck and neck with steals, blocks per game, same basically, 1 a game almost. Turnovers, Shai controls the ball a little bit better, and we're talking about a guy who's considered a point guard. Now, I like to look at Shai like more like a hybrid, like a real shooting guard, but who handles the rock, and that's why I'm comparing them anyway. I don't really put Shai in the same category of a like Steph Curry or like a Kyrie or anything. I put him in the Anthony Edwards. But I guess we could just say guards, right? I don't even really want to call him a point guard necessarily, but he is the point. So when we break down the impact for the teams, let's go into Shai Gilgeous, right? SGA led OKC to a 68-14 record. He most likely will be the MVP. I'm sure Game 7 might have solidified that. And his on-court plus and minus is a plus 918, which, I mean, you see what it is when it comes to OKC when he's not on the floor versus when he is. That's why he's the MVP to me, even over Jokic, right? As great and impactful as Jokic is, Shai, without being on that team, they wouldn't be anything. I'm telling you. Like, Jalen Williams wouldn't be able to lead them anywhere. And Chet is not that level of player yet either, right? Looking at Anthony Edwards, like this is the second time going to the Western Conference Finals, right? Last year they lost to Dallas, and he's averaging 26.5 points a game in the playoffs. And look, Anthony Edwards is special, bro. Like neither one of them take days off on defense, and that's what I like. Anthony Edwards is a little more, like a little more. That's when it comes to defense. He's seeking you. He's not ducking the smoke at all. Not that Shai is, but definitely Anthony Edwards is not ducking the smoke. So it's going to be interesting to see if they choose to guard each other consistently, right? I think Anthony Edwards will definitely not duck that assignment. But at the same time, you kind of want to protect your players from getting into foul trouble, and with them both being able to put pressure on defense is the way they play. With Anthony Edwards, he got that erky jerk ball handling skills. Shai is a crazy, downhill guy using that shoulder to bump, get space. I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to get from that matchup when it comes to guarding each other. But this is what makes, the playoffs kind of epic and what really gives me hope and what this matchup can really be. I want to see some real competition, some T-Mac, Kobe type stuff. Like when T-Mac and Kobe used to get together, we talking about epic duels. Me and my homie Verge used to be on the phone for 2 hours watching Kobe and T-Mac go at it. He was a T-Mac guy, I was a Kobe guy, And, man, we talking about two guys who, like T-Mac, I hate to talk about the older players right now because we supposed to be talking about Ant and Shai, but T-Mac was that guy, okay? If T-Mac never got hurt, man, we'd be talking about him with Kobe. Seriously. And look, I'm going to say it. Talent-wise, as far as from an offensive standpoint, not like overall, I think LeBron is an overall better player, but T-Mac was more of a killer than LeBron. Kobe and T-Mac were you don't get no better than that. You really don't. So that's what I'm want to look at this rivalry kind of in the same vein as Kobe and T-Mac. And the problem with T-Mac also is that he didn't get to play like when he was with Orlando Magic and Grant Hill was supposed to be playing with him. Grant Hill was hurt. If Grant Hill was fully healthy, it would be the rivalry of Orlando Magic and the Lakers back in that day. So it's kind of comparable to SGA and Anthony Edwards and what they're going through, okay? SGA is an elite scorer, like I said, mid-range guard. Like, that's why I compare him to Kobe. Anthony Edwards has kind of transformed more into a three-point shooter. He shoots a high clip of threes, sometimes to a fault, but gets to the rack, Definitely will put you in the rim. Very much, high elevator. And, it is what it is. Now, weaknesses for Shai, he's not as athletic as Anthony Edwards, not as explosive, but very skillful. So it's all about skill. So I hear Club 520 always talking about that Shai is kind of a boring player to watch. I don't look at it like that, maybe because I really like his style of play. Anthony Edwards is more highlight, So when it comes to like face of the NBA type stuff, like Anthony Edwards has the more charismatic presence. Not that Shai got the aura too, though. But it's different. It's like a quiet, like, confidence. He don't really get in your face. Anthony Edwards is talking that talk. I don't really see Shai being kind of like that, but, Shai will kill you, though. Shai will just drop 35 on you, and you don't even realize it. And now your team is down, and he's on your head. But I do think that both of these guys take these matchups very personally, and it is what it is. Anthony Edwards is a stronger athlete than Shai. So, and shooting that three. Like, I'm watching Shai right now in the playoffs actually be a better three-point shooter as far as, like, taking the shot more. And that's one part of his game that if he gets super efficient with the three and is able to shoot them at a high clip, even though I don't want him shooting 10 threes a game unless he's, like, really feeling it. But if he's, shooting 5 to 6 threes a game, consistently and knocking down 3 or 4 of them out of them 5 or 6, or 2 or 3, like, I feel like that'll be epic for his game, and I think he can average 35 points a game, seriously, if he adds the 3-point shot more. And he's doing, like I said, he's doing that in the playoffs more, and he's hitting it. And so I think he could be a great 3-point shooter. I'm just saying, I know that's not his, like, focus. Like, you don't know him for being a 3-point shooter. Anthony Edwards has shot 11 threes in the game, probably even 15 one time. He led the league in threes, I believe, over Steph and over Malik Beasley this year. So that lets you know. A lot of Steph's records are going to be gone when it comes to shooting threes. And we thought that, at one point we thought nobody would ever catch it, but the way people are shooting these days, if you look at a team like Boston Celtics, the way they shoot the three at the clip they shoot it at, Steph's record will be diminished. It will be diminished. So, hey. So when we look at Anthony Edwards' weaknesses, you know, like I said, he's able to. Well, the strengths is that he's able to guard all kind of people. You know, he got the motive for being a great defender, but he's very turnover prone. Okay, shot selection, and that's kind of some of the things. Like, if he didn't have Julius Randle, you know, if he didn't have Rudy Gobert in that game with the Lakers when he was off 1 of 11 from 3 or something like that, like, some of his shot selection is crazy. You know, because he kind of get in this mode of like just jacking stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think IQ-wise, Shai has a better basketball IQ, but I also think Anthony Edwards has a better feel for the game, kind of like an instinct. His instinct is a little bit better than me. He's very instinctual when it comes to how he plays, in my opinion. So all in all, though, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I think, like, SGA is more of my favorite player, honestly. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really rooting for Minnesota to win. I'm rooting for OKC to beat Minnesota. But I'm not mad if Ant makes it to the finals. You know, I'm not. And, you know, now what I will say is if Ant makes it, if Minnesota makes it to the finals and New York makes it to the finals, I'm going for New York because Brunson is my dog. Right, and really because I just like his story, man. I just like how, I mean, he's a little guy. I'm probably taller than him, you know, by an inch or so, and you know, just a tank, man. Just he's a killer, clutch. But if SGA makes it, I really want him to win. You know, it's gonna be kind of tough because I really like New York better as a team because I like Karl Anthony Towns. I'm Karl Anthony, you know. But yeah, man, like, what do y'all think when it comes to SGA and Anthony Edwards? Who's the best? Like, I'm going to go with SGA for now. Of course, he's the MVP this year, more than likely. But Anthony Edwards, dog, I feel like if this playoffs is really going to tell the tale. It's going to crown somebody king. It is. But SGA, he's just so smooth, man. I feel like, I don't know. I liken it to, like, okay, Jordan has the type of game where he just was blessed, right? Blessed with attributes that other people got to work for. And I kind of look at that like with Anthony Edwards is just a blessed athlete. I think Anthony Edwards would have been successful in any type of sport that he tried to play. Any sport. Football, baseball. He even said it himself. He said, if I was swimming, I'd be one of the best. If I was playing baseball, I'd be one of the best. Football, we know he was a dog. Like, Anthony Edwards is one of them kind of guys. He could have been good at anything. You know, probably would have been a great receiver, great tight end, something like that. SGA, that's why I say he kind of more like Kobe is the guy that worked to get that good, like really worked. You know, he don't have to, you know, I mean, he can dunk and all that kind of stuff. Like Kobe had ups, but he worked for them, you know? Like, he worked for everything. Jordan had a fort like down there 40-something inch vertical, man. Like, Jordan was fast. Like, Anthony Edwards is fast, naturally. You know, so that's my differences, man. I want to know what y'all think. Hit the like button, subscribe. It's your boy Karl Anthony for Due Season Hoops. We cooking, bro. Lock in.